The annual Academy Combat Tournament was the most important event of the training year. Every cadet could enter. Winners gained prestige and advanced placement. Losers were reminded of their weaknesses. Taesung stood in the preparation area with 64 other cadets. The bracket was displayed on massive screens. Single elimination, one loss and you were out. His first match was against a crystalline being named Quartz. The alien's body was made of sharp, translucent minerals. Beautiful and deadly, Jiwon found him before the match. Remember, you're not trying to overpower anyone. You're trying to outlast them. I know. And Taesung? She smiled. Half the station is watching. Show them what humans can do. The arena was packed. Thousands of aliens filled the stands. They came to see warriors prove themselves. Most had no interest in the human. He was expected to lose quickly in the first round. The match began. Quartz moved forward, limbs sharp as knives. Taesung had studied crystalline species extensively with Dayun. They were hard but brittle. They could cut, but impacts at the right angles could fracture them. More importantly, they relied on visual targeting. Their other senses were limited. Taesung had prepared for this. He kicked up dust from the arena floor. The fine particles clouded the air. Quartz's movements became uncertain. Then Taesung did something unexpected. He started making noise. Rhythmic sounds. Tapping his feet. Clicking his tongue. Creating false auditory signals. Quartz struck at a sound to the left. Taesung was to the right. He grabbed a training staff from the weapon rack and struck at Quartz's knee joint. The angle was perfect. A visible crack appeared. The crystalline being tried to compensate, but the damaged leg couldn't support properly. Taesung kept moving, creating confusion, staying unpredictable. When Quartz struck, Taesung dodged and countered with precise hits to crystalline stress points. 5 minutes into the match, Quartz's damaged leg shattered. The being fell and couldn't continue. Winner, Taesung of Earth. Silence filled the arena, then shocked murmurs. A human had won? Impossible. This had never happened in coalition combat sports history. In the medical area, Hana was grinning. I knew you could do it. That was one match against an opponent I could prepare for specifically. So prepare for the next one. The second round was 2 days later. His opponent was Kale from his own platoon, the insectoid who had mocked him since day one. This would be harder. Much harder. Kale was fast, aggressive, and had blade-like appendages that could cut through metal. Before the match, Vaisha gave him advice. Insectoids are sprinters. Explosive power for short durations. But they overheat. Their exoskeletons trap body temperature. Make the fight last. The match began. Kyle came at him like a storm. Blades flashing, multiple limbs attacking simultaneously. Taesung focused entirely on defense. Dodging, blocking with his staff. Moving constantly, he didn't try to counterattack. He just survived. 30 seconds. 1 minute. 2 minutes, Kale's attacks began to slow. The exoskeleton was overheating. Taesung could hear the insectoid's breathing becoming labored. 3 minutes. 4 minutes. Kale was visibly tiring. His movements lost precision. Now Taesung attacked. Not with power, but with precision. He targeted the joints between exoskeleton segments, places where armor was thin, places Dayun had shown him, a strike to the antenna base. Insectoids use those for balance and spatial awareness. Kyle stumbled. Another strike to the leg joint, then to the thorax where the armor plates met. Kale tried to respond but was too exhausted. His overheated body couldn't maintain combat intensity. Finally, he collapsed to one knee. Submission, he clicked out. Winner, Taesung of Earth. The arena erupted. Aliens were standing now, shouting. A human had defeated 2 opponents. This was unprecedented. In the barracks that night, Kale approached Taesung. The insectoid's mandibles moved in a way that indicated respect. You fought well. I underestimated humans. You fought well too. No, I fought with strength. You fought with intelligence. That is superior. Kale tilted his head. Your species is strange. Weak but dangerous. I think I understand now why Earth is called a death world. The semi-finals came next. Taesung faced Throne, the massive stone-like alien he had fought multiple times in training. His first opponent who had defeated him in 8 seconds. The arena was completely full now. Word had spread about the human who was winning. Aliens came to see if it was real or luck. Thrawn stood across from him like a mountain. You have improved, small one. But I will still crush you. You're probably right, Taesung admitted, but I'm going to make you work for it. The match began. Taesung implemented everything he had learned. He stayed mobile, never let Throne corner him, never tried to match strength against strength. Instead, he used Throne's own momentum. When the massive alien charged, Taesung dodged at the last moment. Throne crashed into the arena wall. The impact caused visible cracks in his crystalline shoulders. Taesung targeted those cracks. Repeated strikes to the same points. Not trying to shatter Throne, just accumulating damage. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. It became the longest match in tournament history. The crowd was completely silent, watching in disbelief as the small human refused to quit. Throne's movements began to slow. The accumulated damage was affecting his structure. Microfractures spread through his body. At the 20-minute mark, Taesung landed a perfect strike to Throne's knee. The same joint he had studied so carefully. The same weakness he had exploited in training. The knee gave out. Throne fell forward. His massive body hit the arena floor. He tried to rise but couldn't. The structural damage was too severe. Winner, Taesung of Earth. The arena exploded with sound. Aliens from every species were on their feet. Some were shocked. Some were excited. All of them were witnessing something they never thought possible. Commander Vexilor stood in the observation booth. His expression was unreadable. Beside him, Instructor Vacia's skin was bright yellow. "Joy, you see it now?" she asked. "I see that I was wrong about humans," Vexilor admitted. "They are not weak. They are different. Humans survived on a death world for millions of years. They learned to overcome everything through adaptation and persistence. That is more valuable than any natural weapon." Backstage, Hana checked Taesung's condition. He was covered in bruises. His hands were swollen. His ribs were cracked. But he was smiling. "You made it to the finals," she said. "Do you know who you're facing?" "Rax. He's undefeated. 3 years running. He's the best fighter in the academy." "I know. Can you beat him?" Taesung thought about it honestly. "Probably not. But I've already proven something. Humans belong here." Jiwon entered the medical bay. "The entire station is talking about you. Do you know what this means? You're the first human to reach the tournament finals. You've changed how every alien sees our species. I just fought well." "No. You fought human, and that made all the difference." The finals were scheduled for the next evening. Taesung spent the time resting and preparing. Zubin visited and brought him food from Earth. Real food, not nutrient paste. "I pulled some strings," she said. "You need your strength." Young Ho came by with updated data on 4-armed predators. "Rax is incredibly strong, but he has patterns. His lower arms are less flexible. He favors his upper right for power strikes. His endurance is good but not unlimited." Dayun provided detailed biomechanics. 4-armed species evolve to overwhelm prey quickly. If you survive the initial assault, his advantage decreases. Vacia was the last to visit. "Tomorrow you face the strongest opponent in the academy. You will probably lose." "Thanks for the encouragement." Her skin flickered with amusement. "But here is what matters. Win or lose, you have already shown the galaxy something important. Humans cannot be dismissed. We are small and soft and seemingly weak, but we survive, we adapt, we refuse to give up." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "That is the human weapon. That is what makes you dangerous. Tomorrow show them one more time." The night before the finals, Taesung couldn't sleep. He reviewed everything. Every technique, every strategy, every piece of data. Rax was better than him in almost every category, but Taesung had one advantage. He was human. And humans were very, very good at surviving impossible situations. Tomorrow he would prove it. Week 6 began with an announcement. A special instructor was coming to the academy. Someone from Coalition Special Forces. Someone legendary. When she arrived, even Commander Vexilor showed respect. Instructor Vacia was ancient by most standards. Her species was amphibious, with smooth skin that changed colors based on emotion. Scars covered her body, each one a story of survival. She moved slowly now, but with precise control that showed decades of training. "I have fought in 43 combat operations," she told the assembled cadets. "I have trained elite soldiers from 70 different species. I have killed enemies in ways you cannot imagine." Her skin shifted to a dark blue. "I am here for 1 month. I will teach those of you smart enough to learn." Her eyes found Taesung in the crowd. They lingered there for a long moment. After the introduction, training began. Vaisha didn't teach the way other instructors did. She didn't demonstrate techniques. Instead, she watched the cadets fight and pointed out mistakes. You telegraph your attacks, she told Rax. Your shoulders tense before you strike. Any trained opponent sees it coming. To Kale, you rely too much on speed. What happens when you face someone faster? To Throne, your strength is meaningless if you cannot catch your target. Then she came to Taesung. He expected criticism. Instead, she studied him silently for a full minute. Finally, she spoke. You are the human. Yes, instructor. You lose most of your matches. All of them, actually. Her skin flickered with colors, amusement. And yet you continue. Why? Because I'm getting better. Are you? She gestured to the mat. Fight Throne again. Show me what you have learned. Taesung's stomach tightened. His last match against Throne had lasted 8 seconds. But he stepped onto the mat. The massive stone-like alien faced him again. Begin. This time, Taesung didn't try to strike Throne's body. He had studied silicon-based life forms extensively. Their strength came from their crystalline structure. But crystals could be fractured if you hit the right stress points repeatedly. More importantly, he had noticed something. Throne's knee joints didn't bend backward. His shoulder joints had limited rotation. That was the weakness. When Throne reached for him, Taesung didn't dodge away. He moved in close, inside the reach of those massive arms. He stayed near Throne's center where the alien couldn't grab him effectively. Throne tried to back up to get distance. Taesung followed. He kicked at Throne's knee from the side at an angle the joint couldn't properly resist. Not hard enough to do damage, but enough to affect balance. Throne stumbled slightly. Taesung rolled away before the alien could pin him. They reset, circled. Throne advanced more carefully this time. The match lasted 2 minutes before Throne finally caught him and ended it. But Taesung had landed several successful strikes. More importantly, he had controlled the distance and pace of the fight for most of the match. Interesting, Vaisha said. The human understands something the rest of you do not. What is it? Silence from the other cadets. Biomechanics, Taesung said quietly. Elaborate. Every species has physical limitations, joint angles, leverage points. No matter how strong you are, physics still applies. Thrawn is incredibly powerful, but his knees only bend one direction. His shoulders have limited rotation. If I stay in the zones where he can't apply his strength effectively, his advantage decreases. Vaisha's skin turned bright yellow. Excitement. Exactly. The human sees what the rest of you ignore. You rely on your natural gifts and forget the fundamentals. She looked at Taesung. Come with me. She led him to a private training room. Inside, weapons hung on the walls. Training equipment filled the space. The others think you are weak, Vaisha said. Are you? Compared to them? Yes, wrong answer. Her skin flashed red. You are not weak. You are different. Your species evolved on what the galaxy calls a death world. Do you know what that means? Earth is dangerous? Earth is hell. I have seen the reports. Your planet has more predator species per square kilometer than almost any known world. Your weather patterns can kill in minutes. Your diseases mutate constantly. Your own food chain is in constant war with itself. She moved closer, and yet humans survived. Without armor, without venom, without natural weapons, how? Taesung thought about it. We adapted. We learned. We used tools. More than that, you outlasted everything else. Humans are persistence hunters. You don't catch prey by being faster. You chase them until they collapse from exhaustion. Your bodies can regulate temperature through sweating. You can run for hours in conditions that would kill most species. Your minds learn new patterns faster than almost anyone. Her skin shifted to green. That is your weapon. Not strength. Endurance and adaptation. Over the next 2 weeks, Vaisha taught him privately. She showed him techniques from her own martial tradition. How to use an opponent's strength against them. How to target joints and pressure points. How to move efficiently to conserve energy. In a real battle, fights are won by who can continue longest. Your species excels at this. Use it. She also introduced him to Dayun, a human xenobiologist stationed on the Academy research level. Dayun had comprehensive data on every coalition species. I've been studying alien physiology for 3 years, Dayun explained, showing Taesung detailed anatomical diagrams. Every species has vulnerabilities. Reptilians have a nerve cluster at the base of their skull. Insectoids have weak points between exoskeleton segments. Four-armed predators have limited flexibility in their lower arms. She pulled up more files. But here's the interesting part. Most species have never needed to learn this. They fight others from their own world who have similar advantages. They've never faced someone who is weaker but smarter. So I need to be smarter. You need to be human. Do what humans do best. Adapt, learn, survive. Tae-sung spent every free moment studying and training. The other cadets noticed the change. He still lost most matches, but now they were competitive. He lasted longer, landed more strikes, forced his opponents to work for the victory. In week 8, a major training exercise was announced. All cadets would participate in a tactical simulation, teams of 5 trying to complete an objective while facing obstacles and opponents. Tae-sung was assigned to a team with Rax, Kale, and 2 other aliens. Rax was team leader. The objective was to secure a communications relay in a simulated hostile environment. The simulation began. Immediately, they encountered enemy forces, which were holographic projections with stun capability. Rax led the team forward aggressively. We overwhelmed them with force. 3 team members charged. They were hit by crossfire and stunned out of the simulation. Only Tae-sung and Rax remained. The objective was still 300 meters away. Enemy forces blocked the direct route. We need a new plan, Tae-sung said. We have no team, Rax growled. This exercise is lost, maybe not. Tae-sung studied the holographic terrain. The direct route is blocked, but there's a maintenance tunnel system. It's not monitored. If we go around and come up behind the relay, we can avoid most of the enemy forces. That is cowardly. Warriors face their enemies. Warriors complete their objectives. Do you want to pass this exercise or just make a dramatic failure? Rax's forearms tensed. Then he made a barking sound. Laughter. You speak truth, human. Very well. We try your plan. They used the tunnels. Tae-sung's smaller size actually helped, as he could move through tight spaces more easily. When they emerged, they were behind enemy lines. But there was still one guard at the relay point. A holographic enemy equipped with heavy weapons. I will charge, Rax said. You secure the relay while he is distracted. That's a suicide move. You'll be stunned immediately. Then what do you suggest? Tae-sung looked around. He found loose debris in the simulation environment. Distraction, but not suicide. He threw debris to the left of the guard. When the hologram turned to investigate, they moved right. Tae-sung reached the relay and activated it. Exercise complete, the simulation announced. Team 7 has secured the objective. They were one of only 3 teams to succeed. Instructor Quintal reviewed the results. Most teams failed because they relied on force. Team 7 succeeded through tactical thinking. The humans' unconventional approach made the difference. After the debrief, Rax approached Tae-sung. You think differently than warriors. I think like a human. Perhaps that is not weakness. Rax seemed to be considering something. The combat tournament is in 4 weeks. All cadets may enter, will you? I'll be destroyed. Yes, but you might last longer than before. That is progress, is it not? Tae-sung thought about Vaisha's lessons. About everything he had learned. About human stubbornness and adaptation. Yes, I'll enter. Good. I look forward to crushing you in the finals. But Rax's tone was different now. There was something like respect in it. That night, Tae-sung received a message from Vaisha. The tournament will test everything you have learned. Remember, you cannot beat them with strength. But you can outlast them. You can outsmart them. You can be what they least expect. You can be human. Week 4 brought the change everyone had been waiting for. Combat training. The cadets assembled in a massive training hall. Padded floors stretched across an area the size of a football field. Different sections were marked for different types of fighting. Commander Vexler stood at the center, and beside him was someone new. The newcomer was covered in scars. His species was similar to Vexler's reptilian form, but older, battle-worn. One eye was cybernetic. 3 fingers were missing from his left hand. When he spoke, his voice carried authority that made even Rax stand straighter. I am Instructor Caldron. For 30 years, I fought in the Coalition Special Forces. I have killed in 17 different gravity environments. I have survived situations that would destroy most of you. His good eye scanned the assembled cadets. I am here to teach you how to fight, how to hurt your enemies, how to survive when survival seems impossible. He gestured to the training mats. Combat training follows simple rules. Non-lethal force only. Fight until one opponent cannot continue or submits. Medical staff will be present. He pointed to a corner where Hana and other medical officers waited. You will be injured. Accept this. Pain is a teacher. Caldron's eye fixed on Tae-sung, the human. Come forward. Tae-sung's heart hammered, but he walked to the center mat. Around him he heard the other cadets whispering. Placing bets. You will face Throne, Caldron announced. The massive stone-like alien stepped onto the mat. He was twice Tae-sung's height and probably 10 times his weight. His body was literally made of rock and crystal. How was Tae-sung supposed to fight that? Begin, Caldron said. Thrawn moved forward slowly. Tae-sung tried to circle away, looking for any advantage. He had studied Thrawn's species. Silicon-based life forms, incredibly durable but with specific weak points where crystals grew from their body. Thrawn reached for him. Tae-sung ducked under the grab and tried to strike at a crystal point on Thrawn's side. His fist connected and pain shot through his hand. It was like punching a brick wall. Before he could react, Thrawn's other hand caught him. Massive fingers closed around Tae-sung's chest. He felt himself being lifted into the air. Then he was flying, literally flying through the air. He hit the mat 8 feet away. The impact knocked the wind from his lungs. Stars danced in his vision. Match over. 8 seconds. Caldron's voice was neutral. Medical. Hana rushed over with a medical scanner. Bruised ribs. Some internal bleeding. Nothing critical. She helped him stand. You need to be more careful. I'll try, Tae-sung gasped. Back in the observation area, the other cadets were laughing. Rax grinned with all his sharp teeth. 8 seconds. I thought he might last 10, but Tae-sung barely heard them. He was replaying the match in his mind. Thrawn moved slowly. Very slowly. His strength was overwhelming, but he was predictable. Could that be exploited? Over the next 2 weeks, every cadet fought multiple matches. Tae-sung faced different opponents. He lost every single time. Against Kale the insectoid, he lasted 15 seconds. Against a reptilian from another platoon, 30 seconds. Against a crystalline being, 20 seconds each time. Hana patched him up. Each time, the other cadets laughed. Each time Tae-sung studied what went wrong, he began waking at 400 hours, 2 hours before the regular training day. In the empty gym, he practiced alone. He had requested fight recordings from the Academy archives. Thousands of matches from previous years. He watched how different species fought. How they moved. How they attacked. Patterns emerged. The reptilians always opened with a right-hand strike. The insectoids favored overhead attacks. 4 armed predators tried to overwhelm with multiple simultaneous strikes. More importantly, he noticed what they didn't do. None of them used much technique. They relied on natural advantages, strength, speed, armor. They fought like animals, not trained warriors. Tae-sung started practicing techniques from Earth. He had uploaded martial arts videos before leaving home. Judo throws, Aikido redirects, wrestling takedowns, pressure points from various Asian combat systems. One morning, Ji-won found him in the gym. It was 4:30. He was covered in sweat, practicing the same throw against a training dummy for the 100th time. You're going to hurt yourself, she said. Already hurt, Tae-sung replied, not stopping. Might as well hurt while learning. She watched him for a few minutes. You're getting better, smoother. Not good enough. I still lose every match, but you're lasting longer. First match was 8 seconds. Yesterday against Kale was 45 seconds. 45 seconds of getting beaten, Tae-sung said bitterly. Ji-won stepped onto the mat with him. Let me tell you something about humans. We're not the fastest, not the strongest, not the toughest. But you know what we are? She pointed to her head. We're the best at learning. Every other species in the galaxy has natural advantages they rely on. We have adaptation. Do you know why Earth is classified as a death world? Lots of predators? More than that. Earth has every type of threat. Predators, diseases, weather, poison, fire, ice, floods, earthquakes. Humans survived all of it without claws or armor or venom. We survived by learning, by adapting, by being too stubborn to die, she smiled. That's what you're doing. You're adapting. Give it time. Her words gave him something to hold on to. He kept training, kept studying, kept losing matches but lasting longer each time. During tactical theory class, he continued to excel. Instructor Quintal often used his answers as examples. The human sees the battlefield differently. Where others see obstacles, he sees opportunities. Where others see weakness, he sees unconventional advantages. This created an interesting split in how the other cadets viewed him. In physical training, he was a joke. In academic classes, he was competition. One evening, a visitor came to the academy. A human xenopsychologist named Young-Ho. He was giving a lecture on predator behavior across different species. Tae-sung attended. After the lecture, he approached Young-Ho. Can I ask you something? Why do aliens rely so much on their natural abilities? They don't seem to use much actual technique. Young-Ho smiled. Good question. Most species evolved in relatively stable environments. They developed one or two major advantages and optimized around those. Reptilians got strength and armor. Insectoids got speed and exoskeletons. Predators got multiple limbs and hunting instincts. He paused. But Earth was chaos, constantly changing. So humans never optimized for one thing. We learned to do everything adequately and adapt quickly. So we're generalists. More than that, we're problem solvers. Every challenge on Earth required a different solution. That's why human martial arts are so diverse. We developed hundreds of different fighting systems because we faced hundreds of different threats. Young-Ho pulled up data on his pad. I've been watching your matches. You're starting to see it, aren't you? The patterns and how they fight? Yes, Tae-sung admitted. Good, use that. They're predictable because they've never had to be anything else. You're unpredictable because you have to be. That night, Tae-sung had a match scheduled against an insectoid warrior from Platoon 3. Not Kale, but a similar species, faster than his previous opponent. More aggressive, the match began. The insectoid rushed forward with blade-like appendages extended. Before, Tae-sung would have tried to dodge. This time he did something different. He stepped into the attack at an angle. The blade passed beside him, close enough to feel. His hand shot out and grabbed the insectoid's arm at the joint segment. He pulled while pivoting his body. Basic judo principle. Use the opponent's momentum against them. The insectoid stumbled. For just a moment it was off balance. Tae-sung swept its legs. Actually swept 3 of its 6 legs. The creature went down hard. The crowd gasped. A human had actually taken down an opponent, but the insectoid recovered quickly. It rolled away and came up angry. The fight continued for another minute. Tae-sung still lost when a blade caught him across the shoulder, but the damage was done to something more important than his body. The aliens had seen a human fight back successfully, even for just a moment. In the barracks that night, the atmosphere was different. Rax looked at him thoughtfully. You are learning. Trying to, Tae-sung said. Good. It would be boring if you died too easily. Rax showed his teeth, but this time it might have been a smile. In 3 weeks, we begin advanced combat training. The real tests. Are you prepared? Tae-sung thought about the hours of practice. The studying, the pain. The steady improvement. I'm getting there. We shall see. The alarm blared at 05:30 hours. Tae-sung was already awake. Around him, alien cadets stirred from their beds. Throne simply stood up, his stone body apparently not requiring much rest. Kale's exoskeleton clicked as he stretched. Rax yawned, showing rows of sharp teeth. They assembled on the training field at exactly 0600. Commander Vexilor stood at the front, his arms crossed. Welcome to basic training. For the next 12 weeks, I will determine if you are worthy of serving in the coalition military. Many of you will fail. Some of you should not be here at all. His eyes landed on Tae-sung. Today we begin with physical assessment. You will run the perimeter course, 5 kilometers through varied terrain. Then you will complete the obstacle course. Your times will be recorded. Begin. The cadets took off running. Immediately Tae-sung fell behind. The aliens were simply faster. Rax bounded ahead with powerful strides. Kale's multiple legs carried him at incredible speed. Even Throne, despite his bulk, moved with surprising momentum. Tae-sung focused on his breathing. Steady, rhythmic. He had run cross-country in high school on Earth. 5 kilometers was nothing. But keeping pace with aliens who evolved for hunting and fighting was different. By the 2-kilometer mark, some cadets had lapped him. Rax ran past and laughed. The human is slower than I expected. I thought Death Worlders were supposed to be tough. Tae-sung ignored him. He maintained his pace. Eat steady, don't sprint, save energy. At the 3-kilometer mark, something interesting happened. Several aliens began to slow. They had started fast and were burning out. Kale's breathing became labored. Even Rax had to reduce his speed. But Taesung maintained the same pace. His legs kept moving. His breathing stayed controlled. This was what humans did best. They didn't sprint. They endured. He crossed the finish line in second to last place. Only a methane-breathing alien finished after him. Commander Vexilor looked at his datapad. 42 minutes, pathetic. He pointed to the obstacle course. Next, the obstacle course was brutal. Walls to climb, pits to jump, balance beams suspended high above the ground. The aliens used their natural advantages. Rax climbed with all four arms. Kale simply leaped over gaps that Taesung had to carefully navigate. Taesung finished last. His hands were bleeding from the rough surfaces. His legs shook from exhaustion. 1 hour and 18 minutes, Vexilor announced. The human sets a new record. The worst time in Academy history. Some cadets laughed. The rest of the day involved strength tests. Taesung could barely lift weights that others handled easily. Combat dummies that he struggled to move, Thrawn tossed aside like toys. By evening, Taesung sat alone in the mess hall. His body ached everywhere. He ate the nutrient paste that passed for food, trying to recover. A woman approached his table. She was human, middle-aged, with kind eyes. "Mind if I sit?" "Please," Taesung said. "I'm Subin, cultural attaché. I help humans adjust to life on the station." She studied his face. "Rough first day?" "You could say that. The aliens think you're weak. They're making sure you know it. I noticed." Taesung flexed his sore hands. "Why are we even here? Humans can't compete physically with most species." Subin smiled. "Can't we? Tell me something. How do you feel right now?" "Tired, sore, frustrated. But you finished everything they asked you to do, correct?" Taesung thought about it. "Yes, every single test. You came in last, but you completed them all. Do you know how many cadets dropped out today?" "What?" 7 from other species. The reptilian from Platoon 4 quit after the obstacle course. 2 insectoids couldn't finish the run. A crystalline being actually shattered under stress. Subin leaned forward. "You lasted the entire day. That's more than some superior species managed." The word stayed with Taesung as he returned to the barracks. The alien cadets were relaxing, talking about the day. When he entered, Rax stood up. "The human returns. Did you cry in the mess hall?" "No," Taesung said simply. "Surprising. Most weak species cry on the first day." Rax moved closer. "In my culture, the weak must show respect to the strong. You should bow when I speak to you." Taesung looked at him calmly. "I don't think I will." The barracks went quiet. Rax's eyes narrowed. "What did you say?" "I said no. I'm not bowing to you." Rax's forearms tensed. For a moment, it looked like he might attack. Then he laughed. "You have courage, at least. Stupid courage, but courage." He shoved Taesung hard enough to send him stumbling back. "Remember this feeling, human. It will get worse." Taesung said nothing. He went to his bed and pulled out his data pad. If he couldn't beat them with strength, he needed another advantage. He began studying. Combat recordings from previous years, physiological data on coalition species, movement patterns, vulnerabilities. He watched how the reptilians fought, how the insectoids attacked, how predators like Rax used their multiple limbs. Every species had a pattern, strengths and weaknesses. The reptilians were strong, but their joints bent in limited directions. The insectoids were fast, but their exoskeletons had weak points at the segments. Four-armed predators like Rax relied heavily on overwhelming force. Hours passed. Around him, the other cadets slept. Taesung kept studying. A message appeared on his pad. "From Jiwon. Heard about your first day. Remember what I told you. Don't try to beat them at their game. Play yours. Humans don't win by being the strongest. We win by being the smartest." The next morning brought more physical training. Running, climbing, strength exercises. Again, Taesung finished last or near last in everything. The pattern continued for days, but something began to change. On day 3, Taesung noticed he was recovering faster than some aliens. Species that started strong were showing signs of fatigue. Their performance declined has stayed constant. On day 5, they had their first classroom session. Tactical theory with instructor Quintal, an avian species with bright feathers. She presented complex battle scenarios, multiple variables, changing conditions. "Analyze this situation," she said, showing a holographic battlefield. "Your unit is outnumbered 3 to 1. The enemy has superior firepower. What do you do? The alien cadets gave standard answers. Retreat. Call for reinforcements. Fight defensively. When Quintal called on Tae-sung, he studied the hologram for a long moment. I would use the terrain. The enemy position has a narrow approach. If we collapse that ridge with explosives, we create a bottleneck. Then we can use hit-and-run tactics. Make them waste ammunition. Wait for them to separate. Pick them off in small groups. The classroom was silent. Quintal's feathers ruffled with interest. Elaborate. Tae-sung pointed to different areas of the hologram. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. We didn't chase down prey by being faster. We chased them until they collapsed from exhaustion. The same principle applies here. Force the enemy to expend resources. Stay mobile. Attack their supply lines. Eventually, their advantage disappears. Interesting. Quintal entered his score into her pad. Very interesting. After class, Rax approached him. You think well for prey. Thanks, I think. It was not a compliment. Thinking is for the weak. Real warriors rely on strength. But there was something different in Rax's voice. A hint of uncertainty. That night, Tae-sung continued his studies. He requested additional time in the training facility. Commander Vexler approved it with a sneer. Extra training will not make you strong, human. But you may try. Alone in the gym, Tae-sung practiced. He couldn't match alien strength, but he could improve his technique, leverage, balance, efficiency of movement. He watched videos of earth martial arts, judo, aikido, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, arts developed by humans to overcome larger, stronger opponents. The galaxy would learn what that meant. The transport shuttle descended through the artificial atmosphere of Fortress Prime, and Tae-sung pressed his face against the window. The military station stretched out before him like a metal city floating in space. Hundreds of ships docked at its ports. Thousands of lights blinked across its surface. This was the Galactic Defense Coalition Academy, where the strongest warriors from across known space came to train. Tae-sung swallowed hard. He was the first human ever accepted here. The shuttle doors opened with a hiss. Tae-sung stepped out onto the landing platform carrying a single bag. The station's artificial gravity felt slightly heavier than Earth's. Around him, other new cadets were arriving. A massive reptilian creature stood nearby, easily 8 feet tall with green scales that looked harder than steel. Its yellow eyes fixed on Tae-sung for a moment. Then it made a sound like a laugh. Is that the human? Someone asked in the common language that all species used. Must be. Look how small it is. Tae-sung kept walking. He had expected this. Ji-won had warned him during the flight from Earth. She was a human liaison officer who had been at the station for 2 years. She told him the truth. Humans were physically weak compared to most alien species. They will underestimate you, she had said. Let them. Now Ji-won waited at the end of the platform. She was in her 30s with tired eyes but a warm smile. Cadet Tae-sung, welcome to hell. That bad? He asked. Worse, but you'll survive. Humans are good at that. She led him through the massive corridors. Everywhere, alien cadets moved in groups. Some had 4 arms. Others had armored skin. A few glowed with internal light. None of them looked remotely human. They reached the administration building. Inside, a holographic display showed the physical rankings of all coalition species. Humans appeared near the bottom. Strength, rank 247 out of 283 species. Speed, rank 198. Durability, rank 251. Why did they even accept us? Tae-sung asked. Ji-won smiled. That's what everyone wants to know. The Coalition Council voted to include Earth 3 years ago. They said diversity makes us stronger. Most aliens think it was a political move. They don't actually believe humans belong here. A deep voice interrupted them. They would be correct. Tae-sung turned. A reptilian officer stood in the doorway, his scales a darker shade of green than the cadet outside. Scars covered his face and arms. His uniform displayed the rank of commander. Commander Vexler, Ji-won said carefully. This is Cadet Tae-sung. Vexler looked Tae-sung up and down. His eyes were cold. I am your drill instructor. I have trained warriors from species that could tear you apart with one hand. I have seen soldiers who can survive in vacuum without suits. I have commanded troops who eat metal for nutrition. He stepped closer. What exactly do humans bring to the coalition military? Tae-sung met his gaze. I'm here to find out, sir. Indeed. Vexelor handed him a data pad. You are assigned to Platoon 7. Report to Barracks Level 12. Training begins at 600 tomorrow. Try not to die on the first day. The barracks were utilitarian, 20 beds arranged in neat rows. Most were already occupied by alien cadets. When Tae-sung entered, conversation stopped. All eyes turned to him. The human, someone muttered. A massive creature stood up from a bed near the back. Its body seemed to be made of rough stone with crystals growing from its shoulders. This was Throne, Tae-sung would learn later. A silicon-based life form from a high-gravity world. That is your bed, Throne said, pointing to a spot near the door. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Thanks, Tae-sung said. He moved to his assigned bed and began unpacking. An insectoid creature approached. It had a dark exoskeleton and multiple eyes, blade-like appendages extended from its forearms. I am Kale. We take turns with cleaning duties. As the weakest member, you will have extra shifts. That doesn't seem fair, Tae-sung replied. Kale's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Fair? This is military training, not a school playground. The weak serve the strong. That is how survival works. Before Tae-sung could respond, another alien entered the barracks. This one had 4 arms and a predator's face with sharp teeth. Its eyes were bright yellow and focused immediately on Tae-sung. So it's true. They let a human in. The creature circled around Tae-sung. My name is Rax. I'm from a warrior culture. We value strength above all else. What do you value, little human? Survival, Tae-sung said quietly. Rax laughed. Good answer. You will need that mindset here. He leaned closer. In 3 weeks, we begin combat training. Real fighting. Full contact. Cadets have died in training before. Usually the weak ones. The threat was clear. Tae-sung said nothing. He finished unpacking and lay on his bed. Around him, the alien cadets returned to their conversations. He heard them placing bets on how long he would last. Most gave him less than a month. That night, Tae-sung couldn't sleep. He used his datapad to review information about the coalition species. Each one had evolved in different conditions. The reptilians came from a high-gravity desert world. The insectoids were hive warriors bred for combat. The 4-armed predators hunted in packs on their home planet. Humans came from Earth, a world that everyone called relatively peaceful. No natural armor, no claws or venom, just soft skin and fragile bones. But as Tae-sung read deeper, he found something interesting. Humans had the longest endurance of almost any species. They could run for hours without stopping. Their minds adapted quickly to new situations. They could survive in almost any environment with minimal tools. Earth was listed as a Class 7 death world. That classification surprised him. It meant Earth was considered highly dangerous by galactic standards. High gravity, extreme weather, thousands of predator species, bacterial and viral threats. Humans had survived all of that without natural weapons or armor. Maybe Ji-won was right. Maybe surviving was enough. A message appeared on his pad. It was from Hana, the human medical officer Ji-won had mentioned. Welcome to Fortress Prime. Medical Bay is on level 15. You'll probably need it soon. Stay smart out there. Tae-sung smiled slightly. At least there were other humans on the station. He wasn't completely alone. Across the barracks, Rax watched the human lying on his bed. The creature was so small, so weak. It would break easily in combat training. Rax had seen it many times before. Weaker species tried to prove themselves and failed. This human would be no different. But something about the human's eyes bothered Rax. There was no fear in them. Only calculation. That was strange.